Hey, this is Ken Finnan at Capital Advantage Tutoring, and it's my job to get you past the Series 7 exam and the SIE exam. So I get a lot of questions on 529 versus Coverdell on my live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Please check it out, but also, let's go. Okay, so there's two types that we have to worry about for educational saving. There's a Coverdell ESA and then the 529 plan. So let's just start with the basics. The Coverdell is run by the federal government. 529 is regulated by the state. So it's really an MSRB, so it's technically immune. Here's the things that are similar about them both. Both, the money goes in non-deductible, which means you pay taxes on it as you put it in. You don't get to deduct it off your taxes. When you take it out for qualified education expenses, you pay no taxes on the growth, which is awesome. So if you put in $5,000, it grows to 30, and you use it for college or school, then you won't pay taxes on that 25 grand in growth. Awesome. Problem is, if you put money in, there's gift tax limits. The gift tax limits are 15 grand. You can preload 5 years worth, but the deal is, if you give more than 15 grand, you could have to pay taxes as the donor. And on the 529, the state taxes may apply. If you buy a 529 from a state you're not in, then you might have some state taxes to deal with when you take the money out. For the most part, not really testable. Just know that it has to be a conversation. So let's start with the Coverdell first. So there are income limits. So if you make over, like it's like 90, if you make over 110 as a single or 2 and change or something as a couple, then you can't open a Coverdell. You can only put 2K a year in. You can only put 2 grand a year into the account. Okay. At 18, it becomes the kid's money. I mean, once the kid turns 18, it's their money. And if they want to blow it on something other than college, that's their choice. Now they'll pay a penalty on it, plus taxes, but you lose control. They must use it by the time they're 30. Or if they don't, then the IRS, if they don't use it by the time they're 30, then they pay taxes and a penalty for not withdrawing it. The way around it is to transfer it to a qualified relative. Brother, sister, cousin, first cousin, niece, nephew, stuff like that. If you transfer it to someone else, then you're okay and they can get it. The good thing about the Coverdell is that you can basically invest in anything you want. Okay. You can invest in, bonds, stocks, whatever it is. They don't really control you that much. And you can use it to pay for any qualified education. The 529 plan run by the state. So it's a little more, there's some good things, some bad things. So it's run by the state. So it's considered immunity. It's covered by MSRB. There are no income limits. You could be a billionaire and put money in. The contribution level is set by the state. I mean, you're talking hundreds of thousands. Okay. It's really big. They're not really limiting you on what you can and can't put in. Okay. There are no age limits. So if the kid doesn't go or you want to go or whatever it is and you're 40 years old, that's not a problem. There's no 18 to 30 age limit because you are, in reality, you are the owner until you distribute it to the kids at college or with their money. So the owner of the 529 who sets it up is the owner. They can change a beneficiary anytime to any qualified relative, which again, pretty liberal, niece, nephew, cousin, kid, whatever. There are limits on the investments. So there are limits on what you can invest in. Each state has their own limits. Usually it's like some sort of mutual fund. They give you choices, but you can invest directly in stocks or something like that. Usually there's mutual funds or some kind of funds that you can invest in. It's mainly for college, but around 2017, they made it so you can use some of it, not a lot, some of it for tuition below college. So there's the thing. There's the two of them. Coverdell is a 520 So there it is, Coverdell versus 529. Coverdell is run by the Fed. There are a lot of limits on the money going in and who can do it, but you're pretty good about what you can invest in. The 529 plan doesn't really have a lot of limits on who can do it, but they have a limit on what you can invest in. So good. It's a good way to say for college. There are other ways too, but these are the ones I get a lot of questions about.